The governance rules provides the following. This public meeting is being recorded to improve access to the meeting for our community. The recording will be published and will be retained in accordance with Council's legal obligations. As a visitor to the gallery, your presence may be recorded. Right. Start again. Oh, absolutely. The microphone wasn't. Welcome to the June scheduled meeting for the Rural City of Wangaratta Council. Clause 24 of the governance rules provides the following. This public meeting is being recorded to improve access to the meeting for our community. The recording will be published and will be retained by Council in accordance with Council's legal obligations. As a visitor to the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. Item 1, acknowledgement to country. It's my privilege to respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians of our wonderful country. We give our thanks to all our ancestors whose vision, determination, innovation and resilience has built our prosperous, inclusive and democratic country. We acknowledge that we are the proud inheritors of this legacy and we accept the challenge to continue to nourish and nurture our communities. And we pledge to work to implement and enhance opportunities for the benefit of future generations, our children and their children into the future. Item 2, our opening prayer. Almighty God, we humbly ask Thee to bless and guide this council in its deliberations so that we may truly preserve the welfare of the people whom we serve. Amen. We have online today Councillor Winters and Councillor Fuller who are online from Canberra, so welcome to you too. Item number 5, which is the acceptance of apologies and granting of leave of absence. We have an apology from Councillor Harvey Benton. Would someone like to move that we accept that? Councillor Fitzpatrick. Someone to second, please. Councillor Bussell. Thank you. Councillors, we all in agreement? Thank you, councillors. We now move to the confirmation of the last minutes, and there's a recommendation there, councillors, that we have read and confirmed the minutes of the scheduled meeting of 26 May 2026 as a true and accurate record of the proceedings of the meeting. Would someone like to move that we move the minutes? Councillor Fuller, thank you. Someone to second? Councillor Maxwell. Was there anything in the minutes that anyone wanted to comment on or change or move? If not, Councillor Fuller has moved and Councillor Maxwell has seconded. Are we all in agreement, councillors? Thank you. Item number 8, which is conflict of interest disclosure. Are there any disclosures that need to be recorded for today's meeting? If not, thank you, councillors. We'll now move to item number 9, which is the receipt of petitions and response to petition Appin Street pedestrian crossing, and I'll move to our technical services coordinator to give a report on this particular item.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for the demotion.
Well, it says so on here. I'm just reading what I see in front of me.
It's good. It's nice to receive that information in our council meeting. A petition was tabled at the council meeting in April containing 366 signatures. The petition requested that the rural city of Wangaratta conduct an urgent safety assessment pedestrian activity along Appin Street between Irwin Avenue and Wellington Street and install appropriate marked pedestrian crossing at a suitable safe location. A safety assessment has now been completed by Council's technical services team for that section of Appin Street, and this included considering traffic and pedestrian volumes in the area. Council also undertook a desktop review to identify key safety issues and assess the area against Austroads and infrastructure design manual. The assessment focused on pedestrian accessibility, existing infrastructure conditions, and the opportunity to improve the safety outcomes within the defined study area. The report recommended installing a new crossing at Irwin Avenue, realigning the existing pram crossing to match the pedestrian desire lines, relocating the crossing away from the bus stop, adding tactile surface ground indicators, and implementing curb out stands to reduce the crossing distance, and formalising the parking arrangements in this area. This work is currently unbudgeted, and we will need to look for budget within this program or future years programs. The recommendation is that Council adopts the recommendations of the Safety Report, Appin Street Pedestrian Risk Assessment, Irwin Avenue to Wellington Street.
Thank you, Director Goonan. Is there a question from the audience on this particular item? Normally with petitions, they go straight to the CEO for him or her, but for the CEO to deal with that. This particular petition has come at the same time as Council actually examining the situation in Appin Street. So, you know, the two have happened together, and the reason why we're handling the petition in such a way. So, councillors, do we have someone to move the recommendation? Councillor Maxwell? Someone to second? Councillor Fitzpatrick, thank you. Councillor Maxwell, do you want to speak?
Yes, yeah. I'd just like to address the petition itself. Some of us councillors met with constituents within the Appin ward, and we have pushed for something to be done down there. We recognise that there is more and more traffic, and that some safety precautions were necessary. So I look forward to seeing the work that's done, and I look forward to going back to those constituents to brief them with an update of what Council's recommendation is.
Okay, are there any other comments from any other councillors? Anyone wishing to speak for or against? If not, Councillor Maxwell has moved and Councillor Fitzpatrick has seconded. Are we all in agreement, councillors? Okay, thank you. That's been moved. There aren't any councillor reports or officers' reports. We now move to item 13.1, which is the contract C23 660 Microsoft licensing services.
Thank you, Mayor. Microsoft is one of the largest software contracts that Council has, and this is the scheduled tender for award of that 3-year contract. It was so quotes were sought through the Municipal Association of Victoria's technology panel, which means that our spend is consolidated with other customers in the sector to gain value for money for Council through collaborative procurement. And the recommendation is that Council awards the contract to the recommended vendor, Data3, authorises the CEO to sign and seal all associated contract documents, discloses the contract value, and allocates an additional $32,000 for next year's software maintenance operating budget to accommodate the full cost of the agreement, with a slight increase in their current pricing. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Brindley. Is there a question from the audience on this particular item? If not, councillors, we have a recommendation. Would someone like to move? Councillor Bustle? Someone to second, please. Councillor Maxwell? Councillor Bustle, do you wish to speak?
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. I wish we didn't have to spend this sort of money for these things, but it's just a part of doing business these days. We don't really have a lot of choice.
No.
Thank you.
True. Councillor Maxwell, do you wish to speak? Do either Councillor Fuller or Councillor Winters wish to speak? If not, councillors, we have a recommendation that's been moved by Councillor Bustle and seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Is everyone in agreement? Thank you, councillors. Now to disclose the contract value, Director
Yep.
Brindley.
Thank you. So the total 3-year contract value is $1,472,377.86.
And I'm glad we've got the 86 cents in there too. Thank you, Director Brindley. We now move to item 13.2, which is the Audit and Risk Committee Charter 2026. Director of Corporate and Leisure once again.
Thank you. So this is a review and an updated Audit and Risk Committee Charter presented to councillors to consider adopting as part of one of our scheduled reviews and updates. The report itself lists the main area of update, I think the main one being composition of the committee, change to now include up to 3 councillors and up to 4 independent members, and also the indexation of the fairly small amount of remuneration to the independent members to 3% per annum in line with CPI. Otherwise, it's all very straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Brindley. Is there a question from the audience on this particular item? If not, councillors, we have a recommendation. Would someone like to move that we accept the recommendation? Councillor Winters, thank you. And Councillor Fuller to second. Councillor Winters, do you wish to speak to this? Councillor Fuller, do you wish to speak? I think, you know, it's the report is self-explanatory, and I think what's important about the background to this is the slight change in composition, which actually I think enhances the representation around the table, and I think, you know, makes for a stronger committee, and certainly recognise the support that the Audit and Risk Committee give to the rural city of Wangaratta. So Councillor Winters has moved and Councillor Fuller has seconded. Councillors, are we all in agreement? Okay, that's been moved unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We now move to item 13.3, which is the Audit and Risk Committee Independent Member Reappointment. Director Brindley.
Thank you. So the recommendation to councillors is to reappoint Jane Watson for a second 3-year term on the Audit and Risk Committee in line with the terms of the Local Government Act and the committee's charter. Jane has been a very active member of the committee during her first term and is currently the chair of the Audit and Risk Committee, and we would be delighted for her to continue for another term, subject to any feedback from councillors.
Yes, and certainly appreciate her putting up her hand. Is there a question from the audience on this particular item? If not, councillors, would someone like to move? Councillor Fuller, thank you. Someone to second? Councillor Fitzpatrick, thank you. Councillor Fuller, do you wish to speak? Councillor Fitzpatrick, do you wish to speak? I think the report again is a fairly self-explanatory report, and again highlights the value of our Audit and Risk Committee and the commitment that members of the committee make to the work that they do. So, councillors, we have a recommendation moved by Councillor Fuller and seconded by Councillor Fitzpatrick. Are we all in agreement? Thank you. That's been moved unanimously. Councillors, appreciate that. We now move to item 14.1, which is our wheeled activity strategy, and we have the Director of Community and Infrastructure.
Thank you for my subsequent promotion. This report is presented to Council to seek Council's adoption of the Wheeled Activity Strategy 2025 to 2035. The Wheeled Activity Strategy provides the rural city with the strategic and sustainable framework for the development, improvements and activation of wheeled activity infrastructure throughout the municipality. Feedback was received on the initial draft, and this feedback emphasised the need for safer, better connected road cycling routes, more improved signage and pathway accessibility, whilst also expressing additional support was required to increase awareness and participation in events, social riding and family-friendly programs. Consultation with the community included 113 responses to an online survey, 16 community members attending an in-person workshop, 2 people attending an online community workshop, and 8 stakeholder interviews. The key findings for the consultation are outlined in detail in the strategy. The strategy is now ready for council adoption. The recommendation is that council acknowledges the community feedback in the development of the wheeled activity strategy and that council adopts the wheeled activity strategy.
Thank you, Director Goonan. Is there a question from the audience on this particular item? If not, councillors, have we got someone to move? Councillor Fitzpatrick and seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Councillor Fitzpatrick, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just going to say thank you to all those that participated in the survey and provided our feedback. We appreciate it when we do get those, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Councillor Maxwell.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to really reiterate that there was a lot of work done on this, and without that community feedback, it can be very difficult to know exactly what this community needs and wants. Having said that, we also know that we are on an extremely tight budget, and I am sure that Council will continue to revisit this strategy to ensure that we can enable measures to be able to move forward with this strategy and to implement things where necessary, whether it be infrastructure or whether it be supporting our cyclists to continue to be able to bike around this beautiful northeast.
Thank you, Councillor Maxwell. I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of, you know, how important this particular strategy is to the rural city of Wangaratta. We have a reputation for being a cycle destination, and you know, cycling is very, very important to a lot of people here in the rural city of Wangaratta, and we've got our challenges certainly ahead in terms of how we prosecute some of the information that's been provided to us. But I think what is important is the need for us to continue to work with our community and the community to understand, you know, what's realistic, what's possible, you know, what are we able to do into the future. So I think the strategy sets the scene for that, and we can move forward and hopefully be able to achieve much of what the strategy says within a reasonable timeline as well. So, councillors, we've got Councillor Fitzpatrick to move, Councillor Maxwell to second. Are we all in agreement, councillors? Right, everyone's in agreement. Thank you. The recommendations becomes the motion. Thank you. We now move to item number 15, 15.1, which is planning application 22/172 Buckland Gap Road, Mamungi, use and development of the land for a warehouse and creation of access to a road in Transport 2 zone. So, Director of Sustainability and Culture.
Thank you. The planning permit application is for a warehouse to store explosive materials and create an appropriate access to a road. The application has been referred to relevant authorities and notice of the application was given in accordance with the Planning and Environment Act. We received more than 20 objections and some letters of support during that process. Officers have completed a full assessment of the application and submissions against the requirements of the Planning Environment Act and the Wangaratta Planning Scheme. And that assessment is attached to the agenda at attachment 1. And the recommendation from the officers is to issue a notice of refusal because the proposal is considered not to be an orderly planning outcome.
Thank you, Director Swart. Does anyone have a question to this particular item from the audience? If not, councillors, we have a recommendation. Would someone like to move? Councillor Bussell? Someone to second? Councillor Maxwell? Councillor Bussell, would you like to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate there's been attention for this, and it would be very easy to say nothing on an item like this, but I want to thank the objectors for their work, and I've considered their thoughts very, very carefully. I also spoke to a nearby farmer, and he said business like this has to go somewhere, so I don't mind. I also listened to the applicant and their advisors. Then I don't think the planning scheme clearly allows for dangerous goods such as this in a zoning form. This product, ammonium nitrate, is used as a component in explosives used for blasting rock, and rock products are one of the most important products that we all use in our lives every day. We need components for explosives. We need to store quantity. We don't have a specific zone for these goods, so I believe the farming zone is the best fit. And then I asked myself, well, what farm? Do we put it in and consider safety, security, commercial convenience? And I can come up with many sites to put a warehouse like this, but I can't come up with a better site, so I can't support the officer's recommendation, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Bussell. Councillor Maxwell, do you wish to speak? I have to say I agree with Councillor Bussell. This is a difficult decision to make in terms of, where do you put a large-scale industrial development of this nature? We're constantly seeing it in the rural city of Wangaratta, where our planning scheme's being pushed up against. We've got an agricultural zone, a farming zone. That's what the activity is there. And now more and more we're being asked to consider what is industrial in our agricultural land. And it's, also the proximity to sensitive land uses, the rural landscape character. I think we can't forget about that. Amenity and safety and traffic considerations. They're all things that council has had to consider. Always a difficult decision to make. Where do you put facilities such as this? Because it is something that we do need. However, is this the right place to put it? So on the strength of that, councillors, we have a recommendation by the planners to say that we will refuse this. Councillors, moved by Councillor Bussell and seconded by Councillor Maxwell, and I need to ask Councillor Fuller or Councillor Winters whether they wish to make a comment on this particular item. No. So Councillors Bussell and Councillor Maxwell to second. Are we all in agreement, councillors?
I'm sorry, Mayor, is this an agreement to approve the application?
No.
This isn't is this a proposal to accept the recommendation?
We are accepting the recommendation. The planners have put forward a recommendation. The councils have discussed it. We've talked about it around the table, and we have elected to say that this is not an acceptable development in our agricultural land.
Thank you.
Okay. So, councillors, are we all in agreement? Do we need a division, Councillor Bussell? No?
I don't know.
No. Okay. It's been moved. Thank you, councillors. We now move to item number 18, which is the minutes of advisory committee meetings. 18.1 minutes of the advisory committee meetings. The CEO, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to note, councillors, minutes advisory committee meeting for the March meeting of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Councillors, we've got a recommendation that we note the minutes of the advisory committee. Would someone like to move, please? Thank you, Councillor Fitzpatrick. Someone to second? Councillor Maxwell. Councillors, does anyone wish to make a comment on the attachment? If not, councillors, are we all in agreement? Moved by Councillor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. All in agreement? Thank you, that's been moved. Councillors, we now move to, we don't have any notices of motion, no urgent business. We move to item 21, which is public question time. And I have some questions in front of me, but I will ask the audience if there is a question that they wish to ask. Mr. Brian Fox asked the following questions. Number one, should council have a sandbag filling machine? Sandbagging and equipment for community members is the responsibility of the State Emergency Service, not council. The SES is equipped to support the community in these situations and should be contacted for any suggestions or requests related to flood response. Council has recently purchased a sandbagging machine and will assist when requested by the SES. And I know we've provided a similar response to a question by Mr. Fox previously. His second question is, are councillors permitted to send written responses to questions directed to them? And the short answer is yes. However, I will provide some additional information to this. If Mr. Fox is referring to a question through the council meeting process, a councillor may be nominated to respond, usually verbally, or to contribute to an answer. A written response is issued only when a question is on notice via the formal process. Councillors independently sending written answers outside the meeting or on notice process as official responses. If Mr. Fox is referring to unsolicited questions emailed to councillors, there is no obligation to respond. Councillors may acknowledge the receipt, optional and carefully worded, refer to the sender to an appropriate channel. Council should not provide substantive written answers, commit council to a position and seek to obtain answers directly from staff or respond themselves. And councillors have absolutely no obligation to respond to repetitive or inappropriate questions that are often directed, and councillors, often need to deal with that. So that's the response to Mr. Fox. Are there any other questions from the audience tonight or today? All right, we now move to item 22, which is confidential business, and I need to have a recommendation to close the meeting. Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That council resolves to close the meeting to members of the public in accordance with Division 3, Number 1 of the Local Government Act 2020 to consider the following items. Business planning. Item 22.1 is confidential under the Local Government Act 2020 as it contains information relating to A, council business information, being information that would prejudice the council's position in commercial negotiations if prematurely released.
We don't need a seconder for that. We just need to be in agreement, councillors. Councillor Fitzpatrick has seconded that, but we're all in agreement, and we'll move into camera to discuss this confidential item. Thank you.
Get everyone away. All the punters were.
What was that?
Okay, councillors, we need to reopen this meeting, the duly scheduled council meeting. Right, okay, all back. Okay,
I move that the meeting be reopened to members of the public.
thank you, councillor Maxwell. Someone to second, councillor Fitzpatrick. As there are no other items on the agenda, I will now formally close the meeting. So thank you.
42 minutes.
Yeah,
That's good effort.